Welcome to another episode of Tell the Tape, episode 17. Today we're going to have Coach James Parker. If you saw the Instagram post, Coach Parker, he's somebody who has a big impact on the basketball scene, not just with the PYBL, but so much more. A lot of things you see going on in the scene, Parker, he's mentioned these things 5-6 years ago. Just a guy who he just knows a lot about basketball, so I'm excited for this conversation. What's up, Chris? Thank you for tuning in. Man, Juju from across the waters tapping in. I appreciate that support. Appreciate that, really do. As soon as we get Parker tapped in, we're gonna get started. I'm wearing my Lakers hoodie, but I'm still not feeling the season starting. Still not feeling it. Especially we just lost Rondo. But that get Quinn a lot of time to step up, prove himself. People get to hating on Quinn. So Rondo out. Chance to prove himself just like he did when Steph stepped up. And then Deontay, former PYBL player. There we go. AJ, what it do, bro? Parker, what's up?
What's up, Mike? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
What's up with you, man?
Man, I'm good, man. What's up, AJ? Been a long weekend for me, man. Had some family things going on, but, I'm back in getting stuff together.
All right, family good?
Yeah. Well, we had a death in the family, so we had to, handle that this weekend. So,
Sorry to hear that, Coach.
it's cool. It's cool.
All right.
I'm here, man. What's up?
Man, what's up, man? First, I want to get started. You posted some heavy statements about the PYBL this weekend. I love that. They were from Coach Jones and Coach Turner from DeMatha and Gonzaga. How did that make you feel, seeing that those two respective guys had that to say about the league?
I mean, it's always overwhelming because I never look at us as like a big time thing. We're just a small PYBL family run league. So when guys of that stature say the things that they said, it's overwhelming. I don't really got time to really sit and think about it. It just felt real good though. But we are overwhelmed. I talked to Steve a lot. He's a friend of mine, so I knew how he felt. Mike comes out a lot. It's just real cool, man. This whole experience has been great for us.
Yeah, that was when I saw that. I was like, "This is so tough right here." And you told starting it off, is this what you imagined when you started this?
No. I mean, I really didn't picture it being this big. I knew that at the time there were no high-level middle school events, believe it or not, for those that, go to everything they go to now, Made Hoops and everything like that.
Yeah.
We were the first one. So, coaching in the area, I watched middle school basketball. Like, even when you guys were in middle school, I watched and said, man, this is low-level basketball. Like, the guys that are really good, they dominate this.
Yeah.
So, it was crazy that during the winter months, which is basketball season for the top kids, there was no high-level basketball. So, we came up with a plan to really get the best kids in the gym, and it worked out because what happens is, as an 8th grade AAU team, and people know this, you play up. You play in middle school or elementary in the wintertime, your team usually plays up. You play upper age.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to 8th grade, you can't play up because all the top kids are in high school.
Yeah.
So as an 8th grader, what do? There's really nothing for you to do during basketball season at that time. Now, since we've done that magically, everybody has a middle school league. But before we did ours, there was nothing there but, PYBL when we first started off.
Yeah, for sure. And it's great. When you said that, I remember, playing middle school ball, it was just guys that were just way better than the rest of us. You just feel they wanted better things. They was just way better than us. So it definitely worked.
I remember watching you guys. You were at Gordine. I remember Andre Dawkins had 30. A couple of games. Andre, for those who don't know, ended up going to Duke.
Yeah.
So what does Andre Dawkins do in 8th grade playing middle school basketball? He drops 30 and 40 points a game.
Every game. And the crazy thing is, he used to always me and my boy Allen. He went to Gonzaga, but he played football though. He Andre used to always tell us like, "Yeah, I'm gonna reclassify and go to Duke," and like that's your boy. He'd be like, "Yeah, he
Right.
tough."
Sure, Andre. Sure, you're gonna go
Yeah,
to Duke.
yeah. And then I remember like ninth or 10th grade, I looked him up and he had reclassified. I was like, he really about to do this. He really about to get it done.
Yeah, he moved out the Virginia Beach area, like Norfolk, Hampton area,
Yeah,
and went to
yeah,
Duke, man. And he was a player. But
yeah.
I remember middle school. I never forget they played it. That team played at Thurgood Marshall, and Andre played point guard on offense and center on defense.
Facts. He
It's
did.
not 30.
He did
He did
everything for us,
everything.
man. He did everything. I
So
remember.
so guys like that, there really wasn't much for him to do during the wintertime, which is actually basketball season.
Yeah,
And then
yeah,
coming from a coaching perspective, you want to see those kids play in intense environments because you want to see what they're going to be able to do at the next level. So,
right.
I kind of put the league together, whereas as a coach, I wanted to be, as a coach, I feel like this is something I want to see. As a player, I wanted to be something fun that I would want to do if I was a player. And coaching the league, I wanted to make sure there was high-level basketball so it can help me as a coach develop as well.
Yeah, yeah. We definitely gonna get to talk about like the coaching of it. So you talk about like what started it. Did you have any doubts going in, or you didn't even think like that?
I mean, there's always doubts. Anything worth doing, you have doubts about. You don't
Yeah,
know if people are really gonna, want to do it because at that time it was just AAU. So anything out of AAU was, it was unheard of at the time.
yeah,
Anything that wasn't AAU based, it was like, it's rec ball. You know what I'm saying? You can't have high level basketball without AAU.
yeah,
It was a lot of doubt. Luckily for me because this I've coached in the area, so I kind of got guys that I knew, and those guys I knew were really high level players. So we got other guys to play. And we went to the market of basically the product was do things the right way, treat people the right way, and whatever happens from there happens. And we did that, and people kind of gravitated to what we do, and it went from there.
yeah. And can you talk about the beginning? Like I was reading it, y'all only had 6 teams starting it off. That first season was only 6 teams.
Man, that first season, and me and Dave were talking about this last week. That first season, we had 6 teams. Actually, like about 4 days before the season started, we had 5. So we had to get Big Herb Lansdowne, you know what I'm saying, and Cam Savage, those guys in school now. They were over man to man. We actually got their full AAU team as our Fairfax team because we needed a 6 team. Like we couldn't have a league with 5 teams in it.
Yeah, yeah.
So what happened was actually no, they got in. I want to say maybe the night before the league started. Like
That's
you
insane.
know
That's
what I'm saying.
insane.
So what we did the first day, they didn't play that first day. They
Okay,
didn't play that first day. They played the next week. So we just had a team just double up the first weekend, and
okay.
they didn't have any games. So went from there. Yeah, 6 teams. 6 teams. The talent level was okay, but our DC team was just so good that they just beat everybody. Fairfax actually almost won a championship. Actually, I take it back. Fairfax had a couple of non-kids from the AAU team. Braden Galt, some people in Virginia may know him. He was an all-state guy. Went to the state tournament a couple of times.
Okay.
So he was on that team with them, and him and Prentice went back and forth that first year. So it was fun, man. And from there, it just took off. Terrence Williams, Makai Long were 2 major pieces of our league starting off because they were 7th graders at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, when they played and that summer came, when their class came up, it was like, man, everybody got to play. This is something you got to do. It's fun. What I'm saying? They play in good gyms. They play music. We get Gatorade. Everybody need to play in there. So from there, it kind of took off. That's why a lot of credit goes to Terrence Williams and his family for what they did, spreading the word of the PYBL. But, I mean, that first DC team, my first champion, it wasn't a lot. But you look at that team now, you got Terrence Williams, who's at Michigan, Prentice Hub, who's at Notre Dame, Jared Bynum is the point guard at Providence, Valdo Morris, he just left Mount St. Mary's, and he's going to James Madison, I want to say now. Somebody might know. But he was IAC Player of the Year. Jared Bynum's IAC Player of the Year. You got Makai Long, who's at Old Dominion now, was at Rhode Island. You even got Savion Gallen on that team.
That's
and
crazy.
He's at Buffalo now. He was coming off the bench.
That's crazy to have that much talent.
on one team, and that was our first champion. That was our first champion.
And going 2 things you mentioned, the Gatorade. Can you talk about how y'all got the Gatorade sponsorship? Y'all the only youth league with a Gatorade sponsorship.
Well, what happened with that was we just reached out to a guy that was working with my wife at the time, and he did sponsorships for the company. And Gatorade was looking to get into middle school basketball, so they just got in with us. And then we've never gotten a sponsorship dollar from anyone ever since we've been doing our league. We've never gotten a sponsorship dollar. Everything has come from registration and basically us as a family putting it together. But the Gatorade product stuff was real cool, man. It was a real cool thing to have.
Yeah, it definitely is. Like I remember, like being there, and the kids would be like, "Oh, I need one of them bars. I need that new stuff. I need that new stuff." Like that really, it just added something to the league that no one else had.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about how social media, like y'all big on social media, and I feel like I can't speak probably the country too, but in the area, like putting youth league on that type of platform.
Yeah, at first it was a way for us to attract kids. When we first started, I was almost stalking kids that first year on social media. Like if I saw a name with a basketball in it, I was following them like, come play, come play, come play.
Yeah.
So after a while it became its own thing. And then we just started posting kids on there that did a good job in the game. Like, hey, this kid had 20 points, he played well, we put a picture up. And then it became, its own thing and its own, everybody wanted to get on the PYBL Instagram page.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to get a post. Somebody hit me, we played our game, and like the next week, somebody said, hey, thanks for the write-up. And I'm like, I'm not really a write-up. It's just a picture, and it says they played good. But people looked at it like that, but people want publicity for everything they do, these days. It's the times we live in. So, we were, again, one of the first to really, really put out there everything we did on Instagram like that.
Right. That was the thing. Like, no matter what's going on, you go to the Instagram page and you know everything.
Yeah, you can see what everybody's doing, what's going on. We kind of said that was like our sports center. That was our ESPN. Everything that went on in the league, all the action that took place, you would see it on the Instagram page.
Yeah. And I remember when y'all started letting the players sign their picture, that's when they were definitely going forward.
Yeah, that was the summer with that 2020 class. They started signing the names on there, man. That was a cool thing to add into. We always try to do little things here and there just to, accentuate what we do and make it fun for the kids.
Yeah. And you were talking about like when Terrence, when he first played out, like I remember him being called Mr. PYBL and all that. Was there a specific moment or a specific, I guess, player outside of Terrence that helped like shift the league to the next level? A specific game or specific season?
Well, I think the biggest game we've ever had, probably, I would say that first season when Fairfax played DC. It was the third week of the season. I remember like it was yesterday. And before that, it was DC was blowing everybody out. They were blowing everybody out. So it was like, this is nothing for us. This is not. We're gonna kill everybody. Yeah. And in that game, I think Braden Gold had like 40 points, and him and Prentice had like 28. In the fourth quarter, it was like 4 or 5 straight possessions where each team just knocked down the tough bucket. It was crazy. It's on YouTube, actually, if people want to see that fourth quarter of that game. It was crazy. Jared Bynum hit the spin move and one in the lane. People just went off. So it really wasn't a particular player. It was just, it's moments. I think it's moments that really help the league out. I mean, you got guys that get the national pubs that came from our league, the Zion Harmons, Jarris Walkers of the world. Yeah. And those guys help as well. But I think just the overall competitiveness of what we do has really what put us over the top.
Okay.
You can't see anything now without having a PYBL kid in it. So anywhere you go, it's a PYBL kid at any level. From 7th grade on, if you got an event, it's a PYBL kid doing something really well in that event, girls and boys.
Yeah. The thing about it, what was I looking at? Player of the years from all the different areas. Player of the year, all met in DC and Baltimore, covered with kids who played in the PYBL. Yep. Like that was crazy. PG, 4A, 1, 2, 3, PPG. PYBL. Baltimore, Justin Lewis, and Ace, PYBL. It was just everywhere you look. It's crazy.
I mean, that was our goal, to create an environment where the top kids in the area can play consistently against each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at that Charles team with Terrence Williams on it. 3 kids on that team made All-Met. The team that won the championship year. This year, 3 kids on that team made All-Met. You know what I'm saying? So,
2 years ago, honestly, I couldn't even remember that Corey played on that team.
Yeah, Corey Dyches, he came off the bench.
Couldn't even remember that. So that's just a squadded team. That's something in itself.
I mean, people don't realize too. Tremaine Chesley, that was out. What's the school in Charles County?
St.
Charles. He was on that team.
Yeah.
Him. You know what I'm saying? Point guard for DeMatha, Elijah Hawkins was all coming off the bench.
Ish was a third option, basically.
Ish was a third option. Jamal Barnes from St. Stephen, St. Agnes was on that team. For those that don't know, Earl was on that team. Earl Timberlake, Terrence Williams. Man, loaded. It was loaded. It was loaded. Shout out to Coach Black. Coach Black still say he the best coach of all time in PYBL because he had that team.
Oh, yeah. He's still mad at me because I ain't chop it up with him. Still mad at me because I ain't chop it up with him. But let's talk like the expansion of the league. So you started with only 6 teams, and then I know at one point it was 17, 18 different districts and counties. Can you talk about how the expansion started happening?
Every year we wanted to add and we wanted to continue to grow. We don't really like staying still. We want to continue to grow. So that first summer, right after that 16s, it was 9. It was 9 teams. There was no Rising Stars level. In that season, every game in the regular season was decided by less than 10 points. Every single game. So
That's
across the
competition right
board, you
there.
had teams that was flat out battling. Man, that was one of my
Yeah,
favorite seasons to date because every game was a battle. Every game was a war. So from there, I think we had one more. That's when after that, Terrence Williams and those guys were in 2020 class came in. That's when you came in, and then we started our Rising Stars level for our younger group. We wanted to get more kids involved.
yeah, yeah.
And then once Rising Stars started, we started girls. And then we just kept expanding to different areas in the DMV. But what we didn't want to do was we didn't want to water down the product. So
Got
we
it.
scaled back on some teams because once we got to 17, 18 teams, it wasn't every game, decided by 10 points no more. Some of the best teams wouldn't even play each other in the regular season because it was too many. So we decided to scale back and just create that competition once again.
Yeah, yeah. When you started the Rising Stars, was there a rush for people to get with Rising Stars, or did that take a little while to go off too?
No, I wasn't sure what was going to happen. Sometimes we just throw things out there and see what happens. But Rising Stars really came on strong that first year.
Okay.
Really did. I was surprised by it. We had a full league. The only thing I didn't like about it was a lot of kids who were 7th graders who I felt like should have played elite, play Rising Stars because their friends play Rising Stars.
Got it.
So, once we started, I think the only kids that first year of Rising Stars, the only kids that played elite were Trevor Kills and Breon Freeman.
Yeah.
So all the other 7th graders played at the Rising Stars level. So what we did after that, we made a rule that you can play both if you're Rising Stars. So you can play on the elite team and a Rising Stars team. Because, again, everything PYBL comes down to is competition level.
Yeah, yeah.
When it's funny, I see the kids coming in and out on the comments and things like that, and it's a memory with every kid here. You know what I'm saying? Like I see Elijah just had a birthday. Myron, I remember when Myron played that first season with Alexandra. That was a long time ago, but I remember like it was yesterday. All the guys, man, so many memories with this league and these kids and this area, man. It's just been fun. It's been a heck of a ride.
Yeah. Like I remember coming to it, and I just remember, I think I said it to you, like, man, this would have been special, like, if we would have had this when we was in school. Like, it was just something we had never seen before.
Yeah, that was always the goal, man, to create an environment, create something that the area hasn't seen. I mean, that was always my goal growing up, to do something special for my home. I love my home. I'm PG County born and raised. I love it. You know what I'm saying? So what I wanted to do within sports is do something, bring something to my home area. And I feel like so far PYBL has been it.
Yeah, no, it definitely has. Earlier you spoke about, opportunities for coaches. Can you speak on that? Because it's a great platform for young coaches, older coaches, everybody.
Well, I love to have the young coaches come in because there's nowhere else where you can have a young coach join and he's able to coach the top kids in his area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a young coach. Yeah. Unless you're related to somebody or something like that, you start a team from scratch. You're not getting those top kids.
Yeah, yeah.
So our sell to young coaches is, look, you have an opportunity to coach the best kids in your area year in and year out if you get with us. And you're playing high school rules. And if you want to coach in the high school level, high school coaches can see you. So, guys like Dave Baskin have come through, won championships. Coach T with the city team is doing this thing now. Coach E.J. Dawson with Alexandria, he's at Bishop Ireton. Yeah, our younger coaches, Coach E.J. not young anymore. He's been around for some years now. But our younger coaches, man, this really is for them. Our league is for them just as much as for anybody else. So you're able to really hone your craft at a high level. You know what I'm saying? And I know I started coaching when I was 20, 21 years old. I had A.J. Thompson, those guys, and I had them because they grew up near me. I knew the area, and I didn't get those top kids because who was going to coach? Who's going to play for a 20, 21-year-old?
Right.
So, I'm trying to help the younger me out there that didn't get that opportunity to coach those guys and to be able to see so people can see what they can do. So, that was the goal with our coaches, and it still is to this day.
Now we're going to take it back just a little bit. What was your coaching journey like before PYBL? What was your coaching journey like?
I mean, I started from the bottom. I started coaching in 2002, 2003. At 20 years old, I coached Allentown Boys and Girls Club. I actually had the B team for Allentown Boys and Girls Club. It was like a 12 and under, I think it was. From there, I started coaching with the Maryland Stallions that year. And AJ's on here. AJ Thomas is funny because me and AJ Thomas have a relationship to this day. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So we that was the first player I ever recruited. I called his father. I said, it was for Washington Boys and Girls Club. I was Allentown. Everybody knows the areas right there by each other. And I said, do you have any players on your team that can play AAU? I'm 20. I'm calling. He says, yeah, my son's a pretty good ball handler. And it started from there with AJ. AJ was on that team. Dave Baskin was on that team. Jordan was on that team. Yeah, that was like 9 years old then. And then AJ, of course, led Friendly High School to a state championship appearance years later. But me and him, he's on here now. We still have that relationship, and that's the relationship I had with all my guys. But yeah, so it was Allentown. Then I went to Maryland Stallions. Coached there for years, and I started my own program with me and Cadell Phillips. We started the Maryland Running Rebels AAU program.
Yeah.
That was like 0405. And 0405, I started coaching at Friendly High School. I'm as an assistant varsity and JV coach there. I've coached at like 5 or 6 different boys and girls clubs. I coached with a DC Assault for a year when Terrence and those guys were 9.
Mm-hmm.
I've been coaching nonstop since 2003 for real.
And I think
a lot of stops along the way.
But that's the thing, like you were able to have like that insight, like this is what the game needs because you were coaching everywhere. You got to see the landscape of the game and what was missing from it.
Yeah, man, we've been on our grind for a long time. Me and Coach Cadell, we were young. When we were young coaches back in like 22, 23, like, man, these old heads out here taking everything. We can't wait till watch what happens when we get in our 30s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't wait till we beat them. I can't wait till all these top guys get with us. So, that was us as youngins, man, trying to come up in this game. And we've been grinding. We've been grinding for years to get where we at now. That's what kills me with people when they say, well, you made it. PYBL is this and that. Like, I didn't start doing this. And I don't think I've made anything yet. But I didn't start out right here with everybody coming. Nobody wanted to play on my AAU team at first, let alone my league.
Yeah,
So it's been a journey, man. It's been a journey.
Now, I remember you mentioned when you was at Friendly. I remember, like, this might have been like a workout y'all had. But I remember, like, you were in the corner talking to somebody. And you were just like naming all these players. And I think you was talking trash to AJ, like, oh, but you ain't better than so-and-so because they call him the King of 09. That's his nickname. And I was just like, at 13, 14, I was like, bro, I follow basketball a lot, but you was just going off so much stuff. I was like, man, this dude know everything about basketball right now.
Yeah, it was, and I don't know it's one of the things where the guys that play for me, they know that I'm going to go on you a lot, but they know it comes from a place that I care.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like my high school guys now, everybody I'm with now, they know that I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to say it all the time, but I love you. You know what I'm saying? You're one of my guys. You're always going to be one of my guys. You look at my high school team now, Chris Adderwall, assistant coach in my high school. Right. Dave Baskin, one of my first players ever, he's still with me with PYBL to this day. AJ Thomas is on here right now. He's the first guy recruited. These guys have been with me forever. And that's the same way I feel about PYBL. You never leave us in PYBL. Once you play in our league, you're always family. Always. We'll always be there for you. We always going to post stuff about you. We always going to check up on you and see how you're doing. Even if we don't say it to you, we know what you're doing and we watching and we cheering for
you. Yeah. And that's one of the best things. Before that, but like you said, you keep it real with everybody. To this day, you talk to Coach Dave, and he tells the story about, when you told him like what his future would look like with basketball. So it's like those moments they stay forever, and you kept it real.
Yeah, you never know what sticks and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When you talk to people, you just make sure you're real with them, and you just hope. Kids don't listen to everything you say.
Right.
But you just hope that they take some things from them, because they'll tell you. I've been rambled on a lot of times. I get to rambling sometimes just talking. So they'll tell you that, but some things they'll take with them, some things they won't.
Yeah.
But you hope they take the good. You hope they take the good.
Yeah. I see Toes on it. Well, Toes, Mr. Toes, his father. It's so crazy how like you talk about the top talent in basketball. PYBL for the top talent in football too.
Yeah, man, athletes, man.
Yeah.
Jordan is a flat out athlete, man. LSU football and basketball. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? That's the caliber. In Baltimore, man. Baltimore didn't get enough love for PYBL. We had some studs from Baltimore playing our league. It was just, honestly, they be so spread out. It's kind of hard to get them all in the gym on the same day because they got so much going on.
Yeah.
But the talent from Baltimore that played in our league has been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you touched on this a little bit too. Like you talk, like you keep tabs with everybody, check up on them. That was one of the best things. Like especially when I was there covering, it's such a family environment. Like you there, you family. I think that was one of the best things about it.
Yeah,
Or
that's
is one
all.
of the
That's
best
the only
fans.
way we know how to do it, man. Just be
Yeah,
real. You know, my wife is the nice one. She loves everybody. Everybody knows my mom in the gym. You know what I'm saying? My family's in there.
yeah,
The longer you play in the league, the more we see you. I mean, how can we not become family? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? We
yeah,
see you every weekend for 3 years through the good times and the bad, the ups and downs with your child. You know, how can we not?
yeah. And it was crazy. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay. It was crazy seeing Mrs. Parker come in the gym every day. It was like, man, I'm walking back in class again. See Mrs. Parker as soon as I walk in.
Are we having a season, man? I hope so. I hope we have one. I don't know when it's going to start. We'll see how the fall sports go. At latest, it'll be January. PG middle school ball, I have no idea what they're doing with that. No clue. Not my jurisdiction. Even though we do run the PG County All-Star game, but we don't know what they're going to do with that, though.
Yeah, everything up in the air right now.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about Fairfax Christian. When you first got there, it was County Christian. I was looking at that and I forgot about that. So
Yeah.
County Christian, they merged with Fairfax
Fairfax
Christian.
Christian. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Yep.
okay.
And it was me just looking for something new. You know what I'm saying? It was a situation where they said, man, look, we have no budget for you. We have no players. What you want to do? But you can build it from scratch the way you want. And,
Yeah,
like I said, man, what's up with Rashad? That was my man right there. Shad on here. But,
yeah.
I was like, look, I love it. I'm building from scratch. Nothing for me. I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah.
County Christian, we were decent. Last year at Fairfax Christian, we were pretty good. We won 25 games. We beat Coolidge. We beat Landon School. We lost to Roosevelt by 2 points on the last second shot.
That
Theodore
was a great
Roosevelt.
game. That was a
Yeah,
great
so
game.
that our program is really building. We got some new pieces coming in, and we're gonna be I feel like we're gonna be one of the top teams in the DMV this year, top 20
Yeah.
in the DMV this year.
Yeah, I think y'all surprised a lot of people, but like knowing you, like you kind of you knew that a little bit.
Yeah, like people had to know that I was gonna come with some guys.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know I was gonna come. I wasn't gonna come out there with nothing, especially with the schedule we had. So we had one senior. We lost one senior, Caleb Torrance, who actually was a PYBL player. So we lost one guy. Donovan Keys made All-State. He's back. Hayes Green made second team All-State. He's back.
yeah.
Zach Bogert is the number one ranked player in his class in Loudoun County. 6'7" shooter. He had 4 threes against Coolidge. I think he ended with like 22 points that game, something crazy. So, and we got a lot. We got about 4 or 5 new guys coming in. So you picture that. We won 25 games, lost one player, and picked up 5.
Yeah. And I think the best thing was like you didn't duck any bump. Y'all didn't duck any bump during the season.
No, man, our goal is to be one of the top teams in the area, top school programs in the area. So we're not ducking anybody, and that's why we try to get a particular type of kid. Like our
Yeah.
program isn't for everybody. It's brand new. You started from the bottom, and that's the only place I know how to start is from the bottom and build. So certain type of kid, only a certain type of kid can do that.
Yeah, yeah. That's when you said like they didn't give you no budget, they had no kids, but it was like you were kind of used to that. You were
Yeah,
used to that.
that's normal for me.
Yeah,
No budget. What's a budget? I never had a budget in my life.
yeah.
If we had a budget and a sponsor for PYBL, man, PYBL would be insane.
Mm-hmm. What is that like? I know like so with everything you got going, I know people approach you always trying to get attached or always talking about something. What is that like? Like dealing with those type situations?
Sometimes it can be a little overwhelming because there's always somebody with a master plan to do something. You know what I'm saying? And I know that everybody has an agenda with what they're doing. Nobody does nothing for free. That's fine. But it's a matter of does their agenda match what our agenda is?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, honestly, it really doesn't. It's more of like 80 their way, 20 ours. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if it's a situation where both parties are benefiting, then we love to partner and do different things. But a lot of times, there really isn't much benefit for us in a lot of things people are trying to do.
They just trying to get their name off.
Yeah. They're trying to use what we do to get themselves, to a certain spot. Now, we'll help people. We always help people. We post things that help people all the time within our PYBL community.
Yeah.
If you've never been to a game and you've never seen PYBL but asked us to do this and do that, we're not doing that. But within our family, if you're with us, you with us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We love all our people.
Yeah.
What up, Day?
How did that son ask you? Oh, going into winning the conference championship, how big was that for Fairfax Christian?
That was big because that was the first time we had done that. For those that know the NVIC, a lot of people are familiar with Virginia Academy. Virginia Academy and Christ Chapel, which is in Prince William County, have dominated that conference for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, we basically came from out of nowhere and won a championship our first season, and we finished fourth in a regular season in the state rankings. We lost in the state quarterfinals by 2. Kid hits a shot from the volleyball line with 5 seconds to go with 2 hands in his face, and our season ended right there. But yeah, winning the conference championship was the first step for us to building a program. And so from there we may be we're looking at other options as far as conference options after this year coming. So we may be on the move, but our goal is to win the conference, beat the teams in that area, go on and win a state championship.
Yeah, and then right after that, y'all went up to Ohio and got.
Yeah, we won the Division III Christian School National Championship.
Yeah.
We played teams from Tennessee, Arkansas, other places across the country. So it was a pretty cool experience for us to come out on top in that. That was big for the program. Yeah, Georgia teams were there as well, so that was huge, man, moving forward.
Yeah. So has this brought like a lot of players, messaging you, emails from parents about what's going on at Fairfax Christian?
Some, not a lot, because it's still new.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's still new. I don't know if it's not cool yet to go to Fairfax Christian.
Yeah.
Some guys want to do the cool thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they'll go to lesser schools because the name is cool. And I'm sitting there thinking that kid's going there, we'll beat them by like 20 points.
Yeah.
But the name sounds better on Instagram. You get some congratulations when you go to particular places, but you go to Fairfax Christian, it's like, who is that? Where's that at?
Yeah.
So we get that. But like I said, we do have some guys in that wanted to be part of the program this year, so we're really excited about what we have going on. We also got a girls program now. So, we have a new girls coach, Alexis Campbell. She was a coach in Loudoun County, and the girls program is going to match what the boys program is doing. So that's really exciting for me to be able to, share this with someone else and have her dream come true of starting her own program as well. So that's going to be really exciting too.
Yeah. Have you set like any team goals for your team next year, or you just?
Oh yeah, our goal is to win the conference and win the state championship. I feel like every team on our schedule is a winnable game.
Yeah.
And we have some solid teams on our schedule this year. Like Carroll, we're playing Carroll in Chad's event.
Okay.
In Chad's other event, we'll play probably another. We played Roosevelt in last year. We'll probably play like Roosevelt or something like that again this year. Potomac School on the schedule. Like I said, we scrimmage St. Mary's Riken. Bishop Ireton was supposed to play them, but they haven't finalized that game, man. I'm waiting on that game. I'm waiting on them to get a final confirmation, because we want that one as well.
Yeah.
So we're playing a solid schedule this year. Our goal is to be the best team possible, win the state championship.
Got it. Can you speak on some of the players? Like I know Keys is coming back, Green is coming back. Can you speak on some of the players going to play a key role next year?
Yeah, like I said, Donovan Keys is going to be a senior. He's going to be a leader for us. At the guard position, combo guard guy, can play the 1 or the 2, can shoot the cover off the ball. Does a lot of good things for us. Hayes Green, who if those that have seen Hayes knows he's one of the top post scorers in the area. In any conference, anywhere. Hayes can play anywhere in the area. 6'5", 6'6", strong, fit. Either he's going to score or he's going to foul. So he commands double teams every time we play. Zach Boger is one of the best pick and pop big guys in the area at 6'7". He shot 48% from 3. So he can really shoot the basketball. We have another big guy, Sekou Kaba, who's going to be a senior. He's 6'9". So he's another big body for us.
Yeah.
So we got those guys there. Another guy that played in the league that we're excited about, new guy, Corey Coker. He was a point guard actually at Virginia Academy as a freshman last year. He's coming over with us. He'll play some combo guard for us as well, can really shoot the basketball as a 10th grader. So we love him too. And a couple other guys, paperwork really isn't finalized yet. So, we're not going to speak on those. But we got about 3 or 4 really good pieces coming in this year. Howard John Wesley is another name to watch, 6'6", small forward, transferring from Flint Hill, can shoot the basketball, can defend at a high level. So, we got some things going, man. We got some things going.
Yeah, I feel like y'all coming for everybody next year.
Yeah.
That's tough. Bounce back to the PYBL a little bit. And I try not to be biased, but it's just natural. Like, when I first started covering with you guys, y'all allowed me to be in the gym every weekend. I came in with the class of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just that class, like, really is special. Like, I know it's said a lot, but I sometimes feel like people still miss it about what that class did for the not only PYBL, but for the area and basketball in general.
Yeah, I mean that class of 2020, like you run off the names, it's really a who's who list of basketball in this area, and we knew that back then though. You know
Yeah,
that you were in
yeah,
the room. We said, man,
yeah,
when this class gets to be seniors, it's gonna be crazy.
yeah.
You look at like Hunter Dickinson. I mean, for example, you just look at the Fairfax team that lost in the championship. This is people that
Wow.
don't know. What's up? What's up, Lonte, my guy? So, Coach Harley, hey, what's up? So, you look at the team that lost, right? Championship. This team didn't win our league. Jeremy Roach, Duke, right? Jeremy Roach, Duke. Hunter Dickinson, Michigan. Chuck Harris, Butler. Josiah Freeman, Western Michigan. Isaiah Folks came from out of nowhere this year, was dunking on everybody.
Yeah,
He was on
yeah,
that team. Will
yeah.
Page, PVI, he was on that team. Garrett Johnson, multiple offers. He's at, where's he at now? He's at Episcopal now. He was on that team. Man, it was loaded. Josiah Hardy was on that team. It was flat out loaded. And they did not win the championship.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? All that talent, they lost. And
yeah.
those guys, man, we're doing that with the documentary stuff going on. We talked to them about it, and they still think about that game like it was yesterday. Fairfax guys say they want to run it back still. You know what I'm saying? So, that was amazing. But, I mean, the team they lost to, like we said, also had 3 all-Met guys on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got guys like Ishmael Leggett, you know what I'm saying, Lil E on their team. Man,
Yeah.
that was stacked. That season was stacked. And then you got, you had the DC team with guys like Ming. I just saw Marcus Dockery pick his number. He's number 0 this year. That was the DC team.
Mm-hmm.
Darius Johnson, Chase Davis, Mo Dredd, and those guys with Montgomery.
Yeah, yeah. And then
You know
like with Southern Maryland, you had
you had D-Lo and those
leaves.
guys that year. Yeah, you had
going to
a young Trevor and Brayon. You had D-Lo and those guys on that team. Chase Beasley, Carlos Hubbs, started at Gonzaga.
Yeah.
These are teams that lost.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are teams that lost.
Yeah. And you had said it earlier, like you were saying, the only 7th graders that had played were Trevor and Bray. Mm-hmm. But it showed though, because when they went into the 8th grade year, they stepped up and they were ready.
And it was funny because we had this conversation. I had this conversation with Chuck Harris the other day. And the playoffs of that winter season right there where they lost that championship. I don't know if you remember, but D-Lo, Carlos, and who else? Tajon was on that team, and somebody else. They all left and went out of town for an AAU trip during our playoffs, which is pretty much unheard of, right? But at that time, you had Jew Ellerby, who was 7th grade too. Forgot about Jew. Jew Ellerby was in the 7th grade. Trevor and Brayon. That was their first game really playing together, and they only lost to that Jeremy Roach team and Chuck Harris team by like 10. So that kind of catapulted them to, look, these dudes all about to leave. It's our league now. And I mean, Southern Maryland, after that, that was their only loss, and they won 4 straight championships because of that.
Yeah. Went on a crazy run.
They went on a crazy run, man. Coach Dave and those guys, Trevor Kills and Brayon, those teams put on the show. Those teams flat out put on the show.
Mm-hmm. And can you I was talking about this earlier to somebody. Can you when you did the junior NBA, what was that experience like?
Amazing. Flat out amazing, man. That's one of the best experiences I've ever had in basketball. They really treat you like you're an NBA player for 10 days. You know what I'm saying? All the perks, all the stuff they get in that bubble right now, we got.
Yeah, that's tough.
We was in that same type bubble in Florida. It was amazing. Vince Carter's calling games. You seeing NBA guys just walking around, just hanging out.
Yeah,
man, it was amazing. It was fun. It was really fun. That's why every year I try to put something together and get back. And I'm sad this year because we really had a special unit. We went behind the scenes this year. What I did last year was we put our trials on, and we said it on PYBL on Instagram, and then everybody else started scrambling, putting teams together, and started causing the problem. So this year we said, look, we just going to call like 20, 25 kids behind closed doors and get them in the gym, and the best going to come out, and that's going to be our team. So that's what we did this year. And, man, we were really looking forward to things, man.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to things. We were long, we were athletic, we were talented. And, like, it was one of the things, man, that thing was like crack. I went out there one time. I had to get back. I had to get that feeling back. Like, I didn't go last year. Amani Hansberry was too much for us last year. That was a really good team, too, we had.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Amani Hansberry, in the junior NBA regionals, he beat us. You know what I'm saying? I think we lost for like 12, and he's worth about 10 possessions, right? So, we played them, and then 2 weeks later, he goes and plays Gonzaga in an open period event and has like 24 points. So what were my guys supposed to do with that in the 8th grade?
Yeah.
Ronnie is flat out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to get back this year, man, for real. Real. Next year, I'm going to do the same thing. I got to get back. I want to keep it a secret how good it was out there. Like, I don't even want to tell people how it was out there. Because I don't want them to keep putting teams together. It wasn't that good. It was a waste of my time. Don't do it.
You gotta get it back. You gotta get it
Got
back.
to.
Hey, first you mentioned Imani Hansberry, and I want to talk about like some of the more recent players. I remember I came out to a game over the summer. It was one of the PG Southern Maryland games, big rivalry game, and I had walked in late, but it was almost the end of the game, and you was like, Imani Hansberry, he gonna be a problem for years and years and years.
I loved Amani from the beginning. Amani was one of the top post players we've ever had. He might have been the best big in our league as a 7th and 8th grader.
Ah,
So, you know what I'm saying? What he's doing in the WCAC, what he did as a freshman this year, wasn't no surprise.
yeah,
You know, that's
yeah,
the thing. Like, these kids, we see a lot of them, and a lot of times they don't change much. People don't want to hear that. But, you know, because we put these guys in these environments and these games, a lot of times we can see how they're going to pan out at the next mode. Can you hear me?
yeah. I can hear you.
Yeah, so a lot of times we can see what they're going to be at the next level. We can kind of you know, we've been doing this for 7, 8 years now, so we know what it looked like. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying? We know what it looks like when the kid's going to go and he's going to be what he's going to be at that next level. So nothing Amani's doing surprises us at all. He's going to be all WCAC next year as a sophomore.
oh yeah, for sure, for sure. It was that because I think he matched up with Justin Lewis this past year.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah, they
Yeah,
played now?
I think probably they played St. John's. They matched. I remember last year they beat them like on a game winner.
Yeah, probably
But
beat him.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think St. John's got them back this year.
Who hit that shot in that game? Do you remember?
Raheem, PYBL.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And that's
PYBL
crazy.
alum Raheem hit the
It's
bucket, hit the
crazy.
game winner that game. Just
Mm-hmm.
checking. Just checking.
It's crazy. Like I remember they had the event in Baltimore, East Coast Bump, when IMG and Oak Hill came to Baltimore. And it was just like I just tell people like no matter where you look, it's a PYBL product in there.
Yep.
And you had I think you were on the All Met Elite podcast and you were just like y'all don't claim everybody, but you claim a good amount. And I was like, that's a humble statement because every gym I'm in, I definitely, have a relationship with somebody in there because of the PYBL.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, everybody didn't play. I say this all the time. Every good player didn't play. We've never said that. And
Right,
we've never
right.
said that you got to play in a PYBL if you want to be good in high school. And that's not the case. Different situations for different kids. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the top players have played in our league. A
Yeah,
lot of them. A
yeah,
lot of them. Public school, too. A lot of public school guys don't get the pub. The other ones do. But the public school kids as well played in our league.
yeah,
And,
yeah.
for those kids, a lot of them, it's like, man, do you know what I went through in 8th grade, who I was
This,
playing against? This
yeah,
right here is
yeah,
nothing for me right now. So,
yeah,
we get that a lot. Our kids are varsity ready as 9th grade.
yeah.
We put
They
them through
are.
the ringer. You know what I'm saying?
Because those games, especially come playoff time, like that atmosphere is already there. And you got to realize these kids on the floor only 12, 13, but they handle it pretty well.
Yeah, and it's tough, man, because it's coaches on the baseline. I don't think people realize, like we say Mike Jones and Steve Turner, how tough it is for a 13-year-old with Mike Jones sitting in the corner because the man for love sitting in the corner. Mike Jones sitting in the corner staring you down while you're playing basketball, and that's never happened to you before. In a pressure situation,
Yeah,
in a situation where, your stats are online, everybody sees it. So if you don't play well, everybody is going to know it on top of these coaches in the gym. So it's
mm-hmm.
a lot. It's a lot. You talk to kids today that are in high school, and they still say one of the most pressure-packed situations they were in were PYBL playoffs.
Yeah, they get in that bigger
And,
gym.
and I was surprised. Like, you know what I'm saying? You talk to kids now that are going to college, and they still like, man, those playoffs were tough. It was hard to do. I mean, if you're a kid that you have aspirations growing up and going to a IEC, a Bullets, a Landon, and Landon's head coach is sitting right there in the corner, St. Mary's Viking coach is sitting beside him, and they're really evaluating you as a basketball player.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we're talking about the coaches. When did y'all start noticing, like, hey, these coaches in here every single week? Like, not just the playoffs, but every single week these coaches are in there.
Our first summer when we had the 9 teams, but in those 9 teams, we pretty much was stacked with talent. So, I felt like that was something that would happen with us with coaches, but I didn't think it would happen the way it did. I think the class 2 summers ago, our playoffs, now this is 3 days combined, we had 80 coaches in the gym for 3 playoff days. And I can't make that number up. That's just a ridiculous number. Actually, it was 83 because they all signed in. Like, I wouldn't think to make up the number 83. We had 83 coaches in the gym, and they all signed in. You know what I'm saying? Now, some programs brought all their coaches just to – it's like they try to mob up now and then. So it'd be like 7 coaches from one school with shirts on. But from 3 days of playoffs, there were 83 coaches in the gym. And I love that part of it. But the thing about that I don't like is when somebody doesn't play, say, oh, well, I know what high school I'm going to. I don't need to play in the PYBL. To me, that's not what the PYBL is about. It's about competition.
Yeah,
It's about the top kids in the area going at it week in and week out. At the heart of everything we do, the Instagrams, the stats, the Gatorades, the this and that, it's about competition. So,
yeah,
when someone says, oh, yeah, I know all about the PYBL, I'm not playing because I know I'm going to school XYZ, then you don't know about the PYBL.
right.
You don't know anything about it at all because at the end of the day, it's about comp, man. It's about that kid. You're a point guard. That kid right there from Baltimore is a point guard. Which one of you is the best in the area?
Yeah,
Period.
yeah.
When you see that dude, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And with no funky rules, no random rules. You're in a high school gym. You playing high school rules. Everybody is watching. Everybody's gonna know what you gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
That's PYBL.
Yeah. And it's about, I think some people get stuck on like, oh, you just talking about the top players. But like, you got to understand, these teams are, we done said it multiple times, these teams are stacked. So you'll have Corey, who you like, oh, they came out of nowhere. Like, nah, they were playing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just developed Isaiah. Like you said, Isaiah Folks had a big breakout year. Like, players are there. I think something like when I talk to people, they say, oh, it's just big names. Like, nah, it's more than big names. You just have to go there and experience.
And a lot of times the same kids get the pub because those kids are ball players.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If the kid, we don't care who you are, what AU team you play for. If you getting it done, you getting it done. Like I couldn't care less who you play AU for. Most time I don't even know until they say it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you play for, but if you out here getting a bucket, you get that respect. It ain't about the name. You don't come in here with no name.
Right.
Everybody is equal. You make a name.
Yeah.
You make a name. Because every people come and say, oh, yeah, 5th grade, he was cooking. 6th grade, he was cooking. I don't care. He ain't do it here. It don't matter. Then when you start cooking with us, then that's when you got a name with us.
Mm-hmm.
But everything you did beforehand, that was cool, you know what I'm saying, on your circuit where you were at. But this is where, you know what I'm saying, the lines are blurred and there is no, you play with this team, you get these calls, you got this coach. Nah, you better come out and hoop.
Yeah. And this, I remember this always stuck me. This is one of the first things you told me, like when I first started coming out. You were telling me like it doesn't make sense, and this is no knock on any AU team, but it just don't make sense to go get the notoriety where all the schools you want to go to, they right here in the gym. So why would you leave town to go play somewhere, and the school you want to go to is right here back at home?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, right? I talk to AU coaches all the time. We had PYBL and AU coaches get along. The ones that don't get along with us just don't talk to us. So we schedule around events. I'll talk to an 8th grade coach if I know it's 5 kids from one team playing on a particular team. Like, I'll call the coach and say, hey, what's your schedule like? Where are you going? And coaches can vouch for this and say it. Like, I'll talk to them. I'll say, where are you guys going this week? Are you out of town this weekend here because we're planning to do these games? And we'll schedule around what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, why would you go to a random event in Milwaukee, you know what I'm saying, when nobody's here and then miss, like, a PYBL playoff game when everybody is in the gym?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make much sense. It doesn't make much sense.
These are schools you dream about, and they here.
Exactly. And they here watching you play,
Yeah.
but then you want to go to, you know what I'm saying, whatever city you go to, and nobody knows what you're doing out there. You just make a post on Facebook talking about you drop numbers.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying, or you get the notoriety from one of the random sites that none of these coaches pay attention to.
I was just
and I asked them. None of them pay attention to them. And those sites are cool. What they do, you know, they put the kids on. But if you think that high school coaches are taking a look at these sites, they're not. They don't care about these rankings and everything else because they say, what they going to say? Man, I'm just going to see them playing a PYBL.
They in the gym. They're in the gym. They're not sitting behind the computer. They're in the gym.
A coach can tell you what team, a PYBL team a kid play for a lot of times before they can tell you the AU team. And
that says a lot. Look at AJ. AJ still on the the whole time.
That's my man.
And that's another thing. During these interviews, like talking to AJ, talking to Coach Dave, like I made on the post, like this is just giving up respect to you. Like your impact is huge on the DMV basketball scene, and it's spreading. Like it's being replicated throughout the country. You get on Instagram, and like you said, you'll see 100 middle school leagues just pop up out of nowhere.
And it was none when we started. You know what I'm saying? They just all over the place now. It's crazy that what I don't really like about these situations is people love the league from New York or Philly and down us. You know what I'm saying? So we'll have a parent like be mad. Our playoffs are $7. Our games are $5 to get in. So playoffs $7. We got to pay for trophies and everything else. So a parent complain about us paying $7, then you'll go to a certain event by some other guys, not gonna say what type of guys, but other guys doing the event. It's like $25, and you pay that with no problem.
And you
And
can't
they got
re-enter.
sponsors. And they got sponsors. We have no sponsors. The money comes in PYBL comes from our family. The registration fees, and then we pay everything else.
Yeah.
That's why it's so, we try to get that registration money in as fast as we can because that pays for everything.
Yeah. And it takes a lot. Also, from the outside looking, I don't think people understand how much it takes a lot to run one team. So just imagine running an entire organization with people from all over the
It's a
area.
lot. It's some sleepless nights, especially when you don't have your own facility. So it takes a lot to get gyms, and it's tough. It can be really tough. And I'll go back to this with registration fees. There's never been a kid that has not played in the PYBL because they couldn't afford it. Never. If they've talked to us and it's been a real problem, now the difference is the ones that don't want to play, parents don't want to pay because they think the kid is too good to pay, or something like that, or they just don't feel like it at the time. That's different. But there has never in the history of PYBL been a kid not play because he can't afford to play in our league. We're never going to do that to a kid. As a matter of fact, right now, if you play on the city team in our league for the DC, which is DC kids, if you go to a DC public or DC public charter, you do not have to pay to play in our league.
That's tough.
As long as you're playing on that city team. You don't have to pay. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't about, dollars and things like that, but we do need money to make this thing work.
Yeah.
Just like any other business. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it is a business for us. It is a business for us.
Yeah, and people don't look at it like they just see, it's just basketball. Like, nah, this is how people eat. This is how
It's the business of basketball for us. This is our family. Like they say, it's a family business for us. It's what we do.
Yeah, and again, going back to that family vibe, like, it's really family. Like, you come to one game, you come to two games, you family now.
Right. You want us now. Like Lonte been at the table for the last 4 or 5 years. All the kids know Lonte and Elijah.
Yeah,
My uncle's at the door. Karen is running around. My wife's running around all over the place. My kids at the concession stand with my father-in-law.
Yeah.
Dave is all over the place now. His little girl about to start running around the gym with us too. So it really is family, man. That's who we are. That's what we do. It's DMV. It's the DMV coming together and creating something special.
Yeah. That's exactly what's happening. We got away from it, but could you just give us some insight on some of the players we should keep an eye on in high school?
As far as the ones that are what year?
What year we in? 2024? Any 2024 kids?
2024 kids. I mean, of course, you got to start with Tavares Riley and Darren Harris. Two really, really high level guys, played on the Fairfax team, won the championship with us. Dink is Dejan is one of the top running backs in the area. He's going to St. John's. T1 Richburg also is going to St. Mary's Riken. So two guys from that team. Rob, what's Rob's last name? Rob is always missing. Rob Dockery. I don't know where Rob going, but I just hope right now Rob is cool wherever he is. Because we're not posting no more Rob missing posts when he just at his friend house hanging out. Man, Rob was missing like 2-3 times. We got the whole PYBL going crazy looking for Rob, and he chilling. But it's so many kids, man, that played in the league. The Prince William team. There's a lot of sleepers on that team that guys got to look out for coming this year.
Okay.
It's hard to say off the top of my head, man. I don't want to say too many names. I don't want to leave anybody out.
A few names so people could keep up.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, T-Flow? Yeah, it's a lot of guys out there that I just take a look at our league. Take a look at the pictures, see what you see, and you're gonna see a lot of talent.
Yeah. And before we end, can you talk to us about the documentary coming out? Like, what's y'all focus on it, or what we can expect?
Just a kind of a trip down memory lane, a history of the PYBL. Lape Films. Make sure you guys follow him. He's done a great job with the producing of it. Jaquan Womack, that's one of the guys from the Prince William team, is flat out 6'5", 6'6", monster. He's going to be special. There's a couple guys on that Prince William team, man. It's a couple of bodies on that team. But the documentary, man, it's going to come out this fall. I think if anyone has looked at our PYBL page, they've seen, some snippets from it. It's interviews. There's going to be some video stuff. Hopefully we can get some more 6-man videos on there.
Of course.
Forward. So, but it's been a trip down memory lane. Every time we go to somebody's house, it becomes a full day event. You know what I'm saying? The family cooks for us. We go outside on the back porch and we talk about good times. So it's been a surreal experience.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a surreal experience just going back to everybody's house and talking about PYBL old times, 2020, 2021. And it's crazy to me how these kids, I'm talking to Terrence Williams, our producer's talking to Terrence Williams, and he remembers every team everybody played on. Not just the game they played, but who they played for in the PYBL in those games they played. So it's a lot of pride there. We talked to Chuck Harris, and from both sides, they still talk about those last couple of minutes of that championship game when they played each other. So all that's going to be in there. And, of course, you guys, Malcolm Battles in it. Chavez, we did a lot of things with him. Steve Turner, he's in there. Mike Jones. Coach Bird, who's now the JUCO coach at Montgomery Junior College, is in it. A lot of old players. It's going to be really good, man. We're really excited for it. Everything's going well so far. We're still doing a lot of interviews for it. So we're excited to see that. It's going to come out like sometime in the fall.
Okay. All right. Make sure everybody tune in. Make sure y'all follow the PYBL. Also, Fairfax Christian Hoops, FCS Hoops. Keep it tuned because they definitely going to do numbers next year. They did numbers this year, so it's going to be numbers.
Thanks, Mike, man. I appreciate you always, man.
Of course, Parker. Y'all be easy, man.
All right.